On now to the latest on Hillary Clinton's email controversy. We now know the Justice Department has granted immunity to a former Clinton staffer who helped set up and maintain the former Secretary of State's private email server. Nancy Cordes has more.
Mr. Pagliano, can you tell?
Brian Pagliano is an IT specialist who set up the private email server at Clinton's New York home. He took the fifth when he was called before Congress last year, but is cooperating with the FBI, an indication of the breadth of the investigation into whether anyone intentionally mishandled classified information. The Clinton campaign said today it is pleased that Pagliano is helping with a case the FBI director, James Comey, acknowledges is uniquely sensitive.
I am very close personally to that investigation to ensure that it's done the way the FBI tries to do all of its work, independently, competently, and promptly.
The State Department released the last of Clinton's 30,000 emails on Monday. More than 2,000 of them contained information now considered classified, providing fodder for Republicans.
Because what she did was a criminal act she shouldn't be allowed to run, okay?
White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest disputed that.
What I know that some officials over there have said is that she is not a target of the investigation.
In New York last night, former President Bill Clinton argued the email controversy has made his wife more relatable.
I saw this remarkable story by a woman who said, you know, I never really was enthusiastic until I read her emails. And it made me appreciate how really good she is as a human being as well as a public servant.
But the question at the heart of this FBI investigation is why a public servant would need to communicate solely via private email. Elaine Clinton's top aides and even the candidate herself could be interviewed by FBI agents in the coming months.
Nancy, what might the FBI want to know from Pagliano?
They might want to know why the server was set up this way, why Hillary Clinton wanted to communicate via private email. Was she trying to shield her communications from public view? They might want to know whether there were any breaches on the server. In fact, we just learned a few minutes ago from sources familiar with this investigation that Pagliano handed over security logs that he kept from the server that showed that there were no serious security breaches. So those are the kinds of things that they want to know from him, the kinds of things that he would be in the best position to share historically what happened, especially because he sort of was at the nexus of Clinton world and the State Department. He worked on Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign. He worked at the State Department and he worked for the Clintons personally.
Nancy, could this investigation drag on through the election?
It could, although what we've been told is that it probably will wrap up sometime late spring, and either the FBI will determine that there was no criminal wrongdoing, or it will move forward with charges of whom, we really can't say. So certainly the case itself could drag on if there are any indictments, and even if, Elaine, the FBI does determine that there was no criminal wrongdoing, there are still other cases out there. There's a lawsuit taking place in which a judge has recently said that Hillary Clinton's top aides should testify under oath about why the server was set up this way. And the State Department's doing a review, and the intelligence community is doing its own review. So clearly there's going to be lots of fodder for Republicans all the way through November.
Yeah, I mean, if Donald Trump becomes the Republican nominee and Hillary Clinton becomes the Democratic nominee, he's obviously going to hit her on this all the way into November. How would she handle that?
Well, she'd probably have to bring up his legal problems. For instance, the lawsuits that he's facing over Trump University, lawsuits that he has faced in the past. And she's going to have to explain this, email decision that she made over and over again between now and the election. There's no way to get around it. Already now, he's not the nominee yet, but he's, he brings up her email server all the time and says it shows that she's a criminal. Now, to be clear, the FBI has not determined that she's a criminal, and the White House insists actually that the FBI is looking elsewhere and that she is not a target of the investigation. But if Donald Trump can create doubt in enough voters' minds, then that could be a big problem for her.
All right, Nancy Cordes in Washington for us. Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome.